So what's the benefit of building your personal brand online? You will get more demand from your target customer. You will increase the customer loyalty. You will get more referrals from many professionals. But the credit things of building your personal brand online is you will have the permission to be yourself while staying successful in your business. What can you ask for more when you can show out your traits, your personality, who you are, what you like, what you don't, while staying successful in your business? But building a personal brand online is not easy. It requires you to have a clear planning strategy and be consistent to be successful. So today, my friend Carlos, an expert in personal branding, will show you the 7 most easily made mistakes to avoid if you want to be successful at personal branding. So please welcome Carlos.
Thank you, thank you. And again, a shout out to Jason. Thank you so much for making this happen, because we actually created the event 1 week ago. So great promotion. Give it up for Jason. So to this talk, just a rough outline. I'll give the talk now. You already have the handouts there with the personal branding canvas attached to it. After that, as promised, we're giving question and answers in English and also in Vietnamese. So thank you, Yung. She will do the question and answer in Vietnamese. She supported me in the whole process of setting this thing up. So I want you to get the full value out of it so that you all understand what it's about and how you can set up your personal brand without avoiding these 7 mistakes. Do you hear me clearly with it? Is it okay? Cool. Awesome. So before I go into the slides, just a short introduction why I come to that topic. Because I'm actually not a branding expert. At least I thought I was not. I came to Thailand in October 2013, so exactly half a year ago. And I knew that my life vision would require some online presence, something that I want to build up and have it as a legacy. So at the conference, it was about internet marketing, social media, entrepreneurship. I met some people and we formed a mastermind. And from that on, I just began to dig into that topic and to see what's working for other people, what you can avoid, what things you have to do along the way to build up a successful personal brand. Now, I failed a lot of times during that time. I actually had a lot of runway to get to that point where I'm here, standing now in front of you. And so I know it takes half a year. For some people, it takes much longer. For some people, it's much faster. I want to give all the value to you in order to make it much faster. So the most important thing, what I found out on the way is you can do some things right, but you can do 7 things wrong. And these 7 things I present you here, and if you avoid them, you are making much faster progress than I did during the last half year. So let's dive into it.
Sorry, is it possible to turn the volume up a bit?
To turn the phone, maybe I have to speak more into it, like this?
Much better.
Much better? Okay. I don't know if you have speakers in the background, but that should be okay. So first, the title of the presentation is 7 personal branding mistakes that you have to avoid in order to have your authority online. Who of you knows what an authority is? Who has an idea what is the definition of authority? Any idea? Jason, you made a great introduction to personal branding. What's an authority?
Authority means if you have a high credibility to your target customers.
Perfect. That's a good definition. I asked some experts. I'm a software guy, so I asked software people. This guy is Anthony Eden. He runs D and Simple, and he has a great deal of his personal brand because he uses it to fuel customers to D and Simple. He says authority comes from producing real results, and do that in a way that you can show others. So if you're an expert in some field, you know your topic really well, it could be that you're not an authority because you're not doing it in a way other people can see it. And if you want to show it to other people, the first thing you gotta avoid is this first mistake. Showing some personal insights that you don't want to share, you should not share with the public world, but you do it. So for example, this tweet by an employee of Chrysler, basically complaining about no one knows how to drive in Detroit. He wrote that out of anger and used the company account. Should have used his private account. From the entrepreneurial world, there's a friend of us. I cannot name him here. I actually made it anonymous. He's an entrepreneur and he enrolled at a course in Udemy. I mean, it's cool to boost the self-esteem, but do people, should they know about that? Now, my rule of thumb of personal branding, and I say that here, this is the one most important thing that I want to give you with after this talk, is personal branding is about only showing up when it fits your personal brand. So when you have defined the first personal brand, you know exactly when you have to be on the web and when you should not. So what does showing up mean? Let's check this guy. Can you see it? So, do you think this is a good personal brand to show up online? Okay, who thinks that this guy has credibility in what he does? No one? Really? Let's see what he does. Where do you think was that? Just a personal question for me. Where do you think, what country was that? Was it taken at? Was it? Yeah. Where is it? On the beach, yeah. It's basically, it's Germany. So this guy, if he was an employee somewhere employed, he wouldn't post that during work time to impress his coworkers, to impress his boss. Maybe not, but this guy has a brand for kitesurf wear. What he does is he posts these pictures online to get people buy his clothes, and he's made a good deal out of that. And the cool thing is that he lives his brand. He doesn't have to change. He can be his full self every day. So on the evenings, on the weekends, probably he works on his fashion, and over the day he goes kite surfing. This is what a personal brand is about. This is the avatar of a personal brand. But I want to ask you, what are we talking about? What is the definition of a brand? Who knows the definition of a brand? Any ideas? Do you know what a brand is?
Brand is everything people perceive your business.
Everything people perceive you as your business? Yeah. It comes close. I searched, if you use Google to define it, this is what comes out of it. So it's a product manufactured by a company. And it was used as a branding mark for livestock. So that's when they put the hot iron on the butt of the cow. And basically you tag something with it, and then people immediately recognize this as this product or service that you're selling. Now, a personal brand is the extension of that. it's an asset that is defined your online presence. And it's defined in a way that's memorable and unique. So when someone hears Brandon Nolte, he knows exactly that this is this guy, and he knows why, what is he about. So you would ask, what is an asset? An asset is something of value, and it's useful. So a personal brand has attached to it a value. And this value can be easily compromised by mistake number 2, which is bragging. And now I have another video for you, which will probably make you cringe like, because you might have all done that. When I watched that in Bangkok in October, I knew my personal brand had a problem.
Look at this Instagram, exhibited inside of ham. Started out as a lemon tart, then my phone went and made it art.
And these are my fingernails, the beauties and the details. Drinking my ties on a cruise, just a coincidence, it's also boobs.
Everyone look at my feet, get jealous that I'm at the beach. Probably knew I was going there. You saw my plane swing in the air.
I get bored of city lights, try seeing them in black and white. Putting glasses on a cat, I'm the first one to think of that. Oh,
Who has done that?
He thinks he's people.
Every time I take a photo of an old door, every sign out in front of an abandoned store, it's such a thrill to add a filter. Lo-fi, lo-fi. Every time a thing reminds me of a penis, every fortune cookie fortune that I've ever seen is on my feed. It's guaranteed with 5 likes, 5 likes. 5 likes. Look at this coffee foam. Now look at this pretentious tome. Now look at this garden gnome. I'm freaking Michelangelo.
Fireworks in the sky, a super close-up of my eye. Now a selfie looking cute, in the same room where I poop.
Sometimes I just wanna browse 100,000 pics of clouds. Hang on, I need to get this stuck. Hold still, goddammit, fuck. Whoa, whoa, no, it's so blurry. No, you haven't really ever seen a setting sun until you see it on a screen while you play Temple Run. I'm so hell-bent on documenting peach pie, peach pie. Think it's bad now, wait until I'm 33. So many pictures of my kids, you wanna murder me. Miss that first steps, cause I'm obsessed with red eye, red eye.
This is a personal brand. If you believe it or not, every picture you post online is your personal brand. It defines you. And if people see you bragging all the time, this is how they perceive you, as a selfish human being who you should not deal with because it doesn't bring you anything. This life is about exchanging of value. And if you put this stuff online, people don't see value in that. You could be a musician or a rock star, but who is that here? So it's just a basic rule. Every time you show up, it's your personal brand. It should be useful. Is a picture of a plane wing, is it useful? So, way out of that. Be of value. The easiest idea to be out of value is to make it about them. And this comes from Noah Kagan, who is I wouldn't say a personal branding expert, but he knows exactly how he appears online. He's a bit obnoxious, but he teaches you what you should do in order to get customers and make your first, I think his program is to make your first dollar. So make it about them. I looked a bit around, looked at in our Dynamite circle here in our Lifestyle Entrepreneur Forum. And I found some cool websites. For example, this one. And to be of value for another person, basically the only thing you have to do on a website is just search for you. What's this? He has 6 times the word you in it. He makes everything about you getting value. And this is a personal brand. This is from Rob Hanley. And Rob Hanley is the master of influence. Who of you have met him here? Yeah, several people. Cool. So he shows up sometimes, drops value, helps everyone who asks, and then he disappears again. And he has understood that self-perception is something really hard to understand. So his method is provide value on his website. There's another good example. It's a friend of mine, Friedel. What do you think is this guy doing? Was it? Selfies, yeah. What do you think, that he's having some great parties? No, his personal brand is actually really exciting. I'll show you a video of it.
Like I'm wasting my time, I'm stuck here inside. Well, outside the sun is shining, I got only one thing on my mind. I wanna go outside, see what there is to find. And I can't keep it in no longer. Everything I need is feeling grow stronger. Is a hunger to get out of here and move my feet for the bright sun shining down on me. Yeah. Oh, I go insane as I stare against the wall, and it comes closer each day. Yeah, this room gets pretty small. Oh yes, I wanna take a step.
All right, that was Friedel. This is paragliding, and the names you saw below are his employees. So this guy loves action sports, he loves the adrenaline, and he doesn't really have a personal brand per se like this, but he lives it in his company. And people want to work with him because he takes his employees with him after they joined, like 1 week after, they go on a paragliding trip and he brings them to do paragliding. These are his employees. It's a company of 200 people based in Hamburg, and they are serving 14 million websites worldwide. So it's a website construction kit. And you just want to work there because it's full of longboards, surf gear, and people wash their clothes there. So he brought his personal life into his company and built the company around him and how he wanted to work. And people followed him. They just love it. Mistake number 3. Trying to be someone you are not. And this is the thing. I wanted to have something funny for it, but it's actually just sad, because if you are not the one who you are actually, or who you are personally, if you're not resonating with your DNA, something bad comes up. And this is a sad example from a friend of mine. I had to anonymize her as well. She's giving out, I think now, the 50th video on YouTube of how you should do WordPress. It's good advice, but it just doesn't resonate. People don't want to watch that. So if you find yourself blogging for something that you're not in it with your heart, nothing really good comes out. You can run a YouTube channel and no one watches it. Now, the fun thing is that at one point, she posted that on Facebook, probably totally out of desperation, because she didn't get any likes or any views. The dark side of being an entrepreneur, being in business, is that you're not allowed to be vulnerable, and so on. It can be brutal being an entrepreneur. After that post, dozens of people responded and commented on it. So that is her true personality. once she finds out that this is what people want to hear, she's gonna do a rock star. Mistake number 4, lack of a reason. So you're here to hear something about personal branding. Do you want to build your personal brand? Who does want to build a personal brand here in the audience? Okay, Brandon, cool. Who else? Nate, yeah? And you other guys, are you listening to be entertained, or do you want to take action on the things I'm telling you? So if you're building a personal brand, let's say, Brandon, would you answer me one question? Why do you want to build a personal brand?
Well, I guess it makes sense logically from a business standpoint to be consistent. So I think from just a personal standpoint, I would like to be congruent with the way that I live and the way that other people perceive me as well.
So clear business reasons. Basically, what you want to do is you want to sell. Do you want to sell, like in the long term, sell and make money from your business? That's what I'm assuming.
Yes.
So business reasons.
I guess so, but also so that I know that I'm congruent with my own lifestyle, not just necessarily for the business.
Yeah, I see. You want to connect these two things in order to basically do the resonation you have in order to build long-term relationships.
Yeah.
Also for the business, perfect. So this is the perfect reason why to do it. The reason is important, because if you don't have a reason, it's hard to go all the way through, because building a personal brand, it takes time, it takes energy, and it takes a lot of failure. I can tell from my last 6 months, it took me some time to get to this point. Now, if you don't know the reason yet, I can make some suggestions for you. Oh, this is an example of if you don't have a reason. So, counterexample, why is this person working? I have digged through her website. I haven't seen a reason. Well, she stopped her YouTube channel 1 year ago. Might be the reason why she stopped. Because she doesn't have a reason. So, suggestions for reasons. Brandon started selling things. I know there's a bit more to it, but this is one thing, because selling things through your personality is really convenient, is easy, and once you have personal relationships with people, they're more likely to buy from you because you're building trust. This is what Jason introduced for this talk. For example, James Remco. James Remco made a profit of $1 million in 2013 through his personal brand. He says that his main source of traffic, meaning people coming to his website to buy his products, his main source is his personal blog, where he blogs about business. Or John Assaraf. I haven't met him personally. He was in The Secret, you know the movie? He's a realtor. He also made millions, and now he's selling personal development books. I don't know how much he sold, but it was probably enough to live from. Another reason is to increase brand equity, meaning something you want to sell later on, you're building it up now. A good example for that is James Clear. So James Clear says he's an entrepreneur, weightlifter, travel photographer. He doesn't really tell us what he's doing on his website, like why is he there? Is he selling something? What is his meaning of his business? He's clearly building his brand equity, meaning he wants to build an audience to sell things later on or to just have fun, but basically he's building his own personal brand as James Clear. And now we come to a big topic, which is future focus shifts. And this is what many people use right now. So it comes to some examples like, for example, Rob Fitzpatrick. He's a good guy, has a lot of projects, and he saw that he could not put everything under one name tag. Like, he's the guy doing X in London. So he said it's just doing basically every project that's cool. And his website has listed all his projects. So what he does is, he doesn't go into a specific niche. He takes all he has done so far and puts it under his personal brand. It works well for him. He's pretty successful. And this comes to the question I was asked along the way. So how do people who start off with some business eventually get out of it, but take the relationships with them in order to sell the business? And there are some good examples for that. For example, Pat Flynn. Who knows Pat Flynn? Oh, there's some. Cool. So Pat Flynn does smart passive income. He started with smart passive income because he had some success building one software app and recurrently selling it without having to work for it. So he made a blog out of that, he made a podcast, and now he attached his name to it. Say, hey, I'm Pat, and smart passive income with Pat Flynn. So he's in the process of getting the relationships from his business, from smart passive income, to his personality. Same thing with John Lee Dumas, Entrepreneur on Fire. Who knows Entrepreneur on Fire? Same guys. You should catch up. This is cool. He publishes one podcast every single day, and with one interview with an entrepreneur. So if you watch that or listen to that for a year, after that you probably have no other way of starting your own business because you just do it. Now, John Lee Dumas, he also saw that. He had to start out like this. He started just 1 year ago. But he started putting his name on every single graphics he has. So people now know him as John Lee Dumas. This is a personal brand. Entrepreneur on Fire is a brand, but not a personal brand. So what John is able to do after some time, I don't know if he will, but we will see this in the next years. It could be that he's selling Entrepreneur on Fire and starting the next thing and take all the relationships with him as John Lee Dumas and then start the next thing. So this is clearly an advantage of the personal brand. Same thing with James Schramko. He was Superfast Business, put everything under the Superfast Business brand. And now he's doing jamesschramko.com, posting pictures of his private life. And people love to follow him because he became famous. Another reason, and this is relevant to everyone who did not have a reason yet. So I'm speaking to you guys in the middle. If you don't have a reason to build your personal brand, this is your reason. Reserve your spot. Every year, millions of people are born, and to believe that your name is unique is just not true. You probably, every one of us has some, what is it called, name brothers in English? People with the same name. So you better reserve your space online. And this is what Gary Vaynerchuk says. It's a gold rush. He said that in 2008, so we're 6 years after that. It's already quite expensive to build your personal brand because everything is taken. The .com domains are gone. And what happens is you get to choose the domains that are like second-class citizens. For example, like Gabriel Stein, a friend of mine. Who is Gabriel Stein? Now the problem is, they are all Gabriel Stein. That's a friend of mine in the middle. And he took the domain officialgabrielstein.com. I mean, of course, everyone's official, but he had to use the domain because the gabrielstein.com is taken by the guy on the left. Now, this guy on the right is a computer science engineer, and Gabriel is also in the IT. Now, if you search for Gabriel Stein IT, Gabriel Stein Computer Science, you will find both. So it's not unique anymore. So please consider reserving your spot now. Mistake number 5. Appear different from how you want to be perceived. And this is now the time where I'm waving in my story, because this is really a super hard topic. It was a super hard topic for me. I want to share this with you. There are private pictures now coming along. I want you to learn from my progress that it's hard to define yourself when you work for other people. So I want to ask you again, who of you is working for another person? Who is working for another person? As a consultant, as an employee? Raise the hand. Okay, many. Who's an entrepreneur here? Who's running his own business? Okay, cool. Yeah, we are quite even. This is nice. So, what I started out as an employee. Okay, you don't see the text. It's not that important. So this is my old boss, software as a service product, and I worked for him. So I had the brand Ergovia there. I didn't own anything myself. I worked for him. He's in the 8 figures now. Did really well with his software as a service. When I got out of that, I started my own startup. That was 2006 around, so 2007. So we branded our project management system as Quasum. You can still use it. It's a freemium service. I can just recommend this. It's pretty cool. Still on it, quasum.com. So I got out of that company pretty early. Still, these guys are working. Now, I was branding myself as the Quasum CEO. Still, nothing bound to my personality. Then I founded Empuxa, and that was my success because we worked for other companies. So we were a service provider. We developed custom software solutions for startups doing their software as a service. So again, this word, software as a service. Do you know what that is? Who does not know what a software as a service is? Then I'm happy to explain it. Good, cool. So everyone has used MailChimp or Facebook, that is software as a service. We work for brands. One was actually called Brands Listen. Our identity was bound to these. So actually, we didn't have a face outside. We were working for these guys, making a lot of money. We built our brand, which is Empuxa, as you saw here. So our company was branded Empuxa. And what I did, I became the Empuxa CEO. I eventually branded myself and my team with it. I actually bought a surfboard with Empuxa on it. Well, still, it wasn't bound to my personality. So what did I do in order to get to that point, to see, okay, I need to attach something to my name? And to answer this question, who's running your life? Now, this is my startup that I'm running now. It's ReaderDeck, and Helle Herstad is my co-founder. She asked me, who's running your life? Are you in control, or are you being controlled? She didn't ask me that. There was a question she's asking her previous clients all the time. And this is really a question every one of us has to answer. Are we in charge? And if so, do we do a personal brand? Does it make sense for us? I say, yes, it does. How did I get there? How did I define myself? Because I was defined by basically other companies. So I asked other people. I asked, what would define myself? What is my picture here on the present? So I developed this personal branding canvas, and I worked with some people here from our forum, basically helping them fill this thing out. How do you appear online? How do you appear offline? I got some good feedback for myself from it, and I help people get this thing clear, because then what you do is, once you fill out the present, and you know where you're going, you can fill out future, which is offline and online. And when you have the future defined, you know exactly where you're going. Then you can build your personal brand around it. There. Then you have the message, and the message is the most important thing. So when someone asks you, who are you? What do you answer? I'm catching you off guard, Nate, but when I ask someone, who's Nate Ginsburg? I get exactly one answer. It's the boss of Pinterest. And we hear that from successful podcasters like Dan Andrews. So Nate has done a great job with it. That's his message. We had Alan here in the last show. So he said, I'm building an app for mobile street teams. There's also a message. You need one tagline. And I can tell you another personal story for it. When I was in San Francisco, that was in 2011, I was there a month, and I had Empuxa, and we were founding another startup within it, like an internal incubation. So I was in San Francisco for a software startup, like software service provider, and a startup in renewable energy software. So I had 2 pitches. San Francisco, some people are here from San Francisco probably. It's different. They hustle more. They have just a short attention span. So when you come with 2 pitches, what they hear is the first one. So when you pitch 2 companies, they only hear the first pitch. So you only had 1 chance. Someone has the quote saying, you only got the chance, you got the one-time chance to make a first impression. And then it's defined. You can never make a first impression again. So when you come to someone and say, hi, I'm Till Carlos, blank. What is the pitch? What is the message that you have? The message is the most important thing because everything else evolves around it. So for me, that was the hardest because I'm a project guy, I'm a producer, I'm a creator, I like to build things, just like Rob Fitzpatrick with his 1,000 projects, but I didn't show them off. I found my message. Process designer. So this could be anything, I know. Still, it is something that is unique to me and something that I can utilize to build more and more things. What Nate does with his Pinterest is also really good because people perceive Nate as Nate, so then he can step to the next niche and then to the next. So it's nothing, when you brand yourself with some niche, you can still step out of that because people perceive you as a person and not as a function. This is the one distinction between personal brands and normal brands. So, 2 more mistakes to go. Not controlling your channels. Who has ever sent a tweet drunk? Yeah, I'm guilty of that too. It's not fun, no, because social media is meant to be used when you're in control. Or when you know that it's Twitter and not Facebook. Hello, Facebook. This is actually, hey, this is Lindsay. Welcome to my Facebook page. And it's Twitter. Or Wycliffe Jean. Who knows Wycliffe Jean? Okay, you're American. You know him probably better than me. What is his personal brand? How is he perceived? Can you tell me that? Because I honestly don't know.
He's a musician and he's extremely concerned with social causes, race equality, economic equality.
Okay, so he would rather spend his money to give it to poor children.
If he were president, which he wrote a song about.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, a natural disaster happens in the Caribbean. He's one of the loudest spokesmen for aid there.
Good. So he would spend his last dime for a good cause, right? But he's 43 and he needs to feel really young. That was the picture that came along with his tweet. Maybe you should have posted it not at all or somewhere else, but not on Twitter where people just talking apart after that. So the basic step-by-step plan, and this is really easy for you to learn or to know when you control something or in the process of getting back the control. Choose the technology, each by each. Don't do everything at the same time. If you want to go for Twitter, learn it first. There's a great book by Gary Vaynerchuk, we had him before, Jab, 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 Right Hook. So he explains everything. Use Twitter for that. Use Pinterest for that. Okay, for Pinterest, you should ask Nate, but still, first control it. Learn it if you have to, then apply it, and then be consistent. It's really important to be consistent. For example, Jody, she taught us at the conference how to use Twitter. So one of her lessons was, you should 9 times retweet other people, be good for other people, and 1 time you can sell, you can brag about yourself, you can point people to your website. But first be good 9 times, and then 1 time be good for yourself. Failure number 7. And now this is the thing that I want to inspire action in you, which is not starting. Because this is really the worst failure you can commit. Not taking control of your personal brand. not being in charge of what you do on Twitter, on Facebook, on every social media channel, or on the online presence, or on your domain. So, how to start? Following this lean starter approach, you can make a minimum viable personal brand. So the minimum viable personal brand, and this is what I'm giving you here, and you have it on your handout as well. So you will see how to go step by step in order to build your personal brand. It's really easy, actually. This is the framework. Define a message, get photos by domain, email address, website, and claim the space. I'm going through these steps now, slowly, and you can take it home and then execute on that. So define a message. A message is a USP, unique selling proposition, something that people see, okay, I get this value out of it. I was asked that. How can I define the right USP that resonates with my audience? How can I define this message? And yeah, the message is the most important thing. How to define a message? I can give you some templates, some approaches. Be humble and precise. I want to ask you again. Who wants to tell me his message in a humble and precise manner? May I ask you, what is your job?
Student.
You're a student. Perfect. So your personal brand, what's your name? Noya. Noya? Okay, so what you can say, humble and precise. I'm Noya, I'm a student. It's the minimal thing you can do, totally honest, and it will give you the possibility to expand to wherever. So, this is what he did. Do you know Nathan Barry? You probably know him, right? Nathan Barry, yeah, he's a designer. I design products. Last year, he made $250,000 on his information products by just being a designer and teaching what he knows to other people. Just by doing that and making a really good job of that. Of course, he's a good marketer, but he didn't start out like a good marketer. He was basically just himself and then put up this book about design. You should really check him out, nathanbarry.com. Another approach, to ask. And asking is really interesting. This is what I did with my personal brand. I asked people, how do you define me? And there's this guy called Peter Shallot. When he started out, he didn't know where he wanted to go. He didn't know his message. So he asked 30 of his friends and asked them, why did you get in touch with me? Why did you buy my products and services? And they said clearly, man, of course, you're the shrink of entrepreneurs. And now, look at what he did from it. He wrote books, he's making good living. He's the shrink for entrepreneurs. This is awesome. And his personal brand is Peter Shallot, so people know him as a shrink for entrepreneurs, but still his name is attached to it. So that's asking. Totally valid approach. And then, of course, it's listen. So listen means if you have target customers, if you do your personal branding in terms of business, you got to listen to your customers. Who of you does know what an autoresponder is? Please raise the hand. Who does know what an autoresponder is? Autoresponder. Who does not know what an autoresponder is? Okay, that's a bad question, I know. Okay, an autoresponder is something used in the internet marketing scene, which is basically the emails that automatically come from a system to your inbox. Without the person sending it each by each, they come out automatically. If you're in the internet marketing scene and you need the autoresponder because it's sometimes hard to write them, there is one guy, Nick, he's a copywriter. He knows how to do this. He wrote my autoresponder. Thank you for that. It's really a complicated task. Listen means you know exactly what your target audience wants, and then you give it to them, and you can brand yourself with it. So, the autoresponder. Before I got in touch with Nick, I knew this one guy. I would have asked him. It's the autoresponder guy. This is an awesome personal brand. This is John McIntyre, currently living in Chiang Mai in Thailand. He did a great deal out of his personal brand. He's making a good living from it by just going to one direction, always. Only he's doing autoresponder, email marketing, this niche. Doing a great job with it. Next step, once you have your message, get great photos. And I would advise you to first do the message, and then get the photos. So for example, me, I'm a process designer. I wouldn't appear in a t-shirt because my clients are small businesses. So they should get something representative. This is all a bit about clothing, about how you dress, how you appear online. When I ran M-Poxa, I was doing kitesurfing at that time. It was kind of hard to connect to my customers at times. And I noticed that just months after, actually, because they were in a business context and I came with a t-shirt, sometimes with board shorts. It was hard to connect to them. So when you want to show up online and offline as well, your personal brand should be the direction you want to go. If you want to sell, say, processes, got to appear in a good dress. People perceive that as value. So get great photos. When you got your message, get great photos. And get photos in a way that you can use it online and social media. So this is the German personal branding expert, the profile agent. She appears the same always, online and offline. And she says, okay, get a good photo here, like a casual photo for the background, and get one clear profile picture that people could recognize. So she's teaching that the personal brand is also about the visuals. People will not attach only a name to your personal brand, but also your appearance. So once you see this girl with a red hair, you will see it's probably Kikska. She's all over the place. Yeah, and then it's about domains. I already told that the .com domain is getting rare. I was lucky to get to carlos.com. I bought it last year. I didn't get the Twitter handle. So the best thing you can do, take the first name, take the last name, put a .com to it, and then it's good. Don't try to be someone fancy. Don't try to be some Twitter handle. I know people who have a Twitter handle, Fancy Cat, for example. Now at a conference, you're getting known as the Twitter person. So when someone approaches you, say, who are you? Like Jan Detmer? Oh, you are Fancy Cat. This is the effect you don't want to have, because this effect will just compromise the coupling between your name and the appearance you have online. So try to be consistent in that. Get your name also as a Twitter handle. And then it's about the email address. I tried out several things. I tried out contact@carlos.com. I tried out updates, email@carlos.com. I ended up with till@carlos.com. I got the advice from John Myers. John Myers, designer. This is personal brand. You ever look at johnmyers.com? Just says designer. Pretty cool. And he has John at johnmyers.com. So this has several benefits, because people will learn what is your first name. This is your first name. This is your last name. If you do something else, it's like a standard. If you do something else, people will question that. What is it? Where's your last name? Where's your first name? So try to be consistent in that. And buy a Google email address, meaning this is a Google Apps for Business. It costs $4 per month. If you're using Google Hangouts, Google+, anytime you use a Google product, you will log in with your email address. I assume that every one of you has a Gmail address. Who does not have a Gmail address? Okay, now the question, this is really interesting. Since you all have Gmail addresses, who does own another email address on top of that? Okay, cool. Do people get confused when they get an email from your official email address and then an email from your Gmail address? Is that the case? Did that ever happen to you, that you share something in Google Drive and then people ask you, who's that? Yeah, I had the problem. So I had 2 identities on Google, well, actually some more. I know someone who has 5 Gmail addresses. There's no point in doing that. The problem is that so Google attaches every profile to it. You have your email address, then you create a page and a YouTube channel, and everything is attached to this account. So you're building up something, and in the end you have 2 identities that you have to merge, and it's a pain with Google. I would just advise you just not go for that. Get one account, get consistent, and use it all the time. I did this in January, and it yielded great benefits. Did not have to struggle with it anymore at all. And once you start paying Google, they're really nice to you. Undo send, this is another feature. If you use Gmail, take this undo send. So whenever you write something to a person that you might not want to send, you have the undo button for 5 seconds. Just a small tip. Yeah, and then build a website. A flavors.me page is easy because you have your own .com domain, you go to flavors.me and just put something online that is your photo, and it's your name, and that's your message. So basically saying, this is a picture of me, this is Till Carlos, process designer, and it's done. Don't have to worry again. And when people look you up, they find you, and they say, okay, this is Peter Shallot, the entrepreneur, the shrink for entrepreneurs. It's all good. So this is the minimum you have to do. And then take this advice again. Oh, no, there's one thing. If you cannot use Flavors.me, ask people like Tom Howard to build your website. He's the master of WordPress. Just hand it away, don't do it yourself. And then register every single service. So on Pinterest, I know you can change the names. Still, they get taken away fast. Twitter is bad. On Twitter, every single name is probably already taken. So I had to register till_Carlos at till_Carlos. Facebook.com, it's good if you have your name as well. So you just register them. And then you're set. And then you can just take your personal brand and leave it. Don't use it. Don't use these technologies until you have completely understand them. So this is my advice for today. Do it now. Register it. And then the most important thing. Put passion behind it. So once you go out and be yourself, be your true self, be passionate. And then people will connect to you much faster. If it's online or offline, you will bring that picture together and you build a strong personal brand and people will love you for that. And you can grow any business out of that because people will already know you. That was my talk on personal branding. Thank you so much. And here's Jason again. If you have questions, Q&A session. And if you have questions in Vietnamese.
Yes, I will have translation. So, does anybody here have a question for Till?
Yes.
Hi. So, about building personal branding, it's not about public your personal profile, isn't it? As I understand.
It's about public personal profiles, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it about public your personal profile?
Yes.
In a literary way.
It is everything that you put online that people can see without like being your Facebook friend or something. You can share private things on Facebook, but everything you put online.
Okay, but needs to be selective, isn't it?
Selective in terms of what?
In terms of, because you don't want to share the whole life online, right? I mean,
Exactly. Now, the thing is that our lives take place online. We're just having our identities online. Everyone is using a smartphone. And there's just no way to escape it. So I found my truth in it. One thing is, don't do stupid things when a camera is around. Another thing is, every time I appear online and I know how to control it, it must be according to my personal brand.
the reason why I asked this question is because I try really hard to build my own personal branding, but the question stopped me is that, do I really like to share this one? Does it affect my real life?
Yeah.
I'm worried. I think I'm worried too much about what people will think about it, how people judge it, and will it be safe? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's totally valid. And if you follow this principle of giving value, then you cannot really lose anything. You will just be a person being good to other people, being helpful, being of value. And if you distill that out, everything is good. If you have some private things, yeah, attach them because this is you. People also want to see you as a integral person. It's not just a puppet somewhere doing business, but also more, there is a real human behind it. So at some time, you can put that in, as Jody said. So my roofers, 9 times provide business value, refer to other people. And one time I can post a kite surfing picture. It's no problem in doing that, but just don't do it all the time. Okay, questions in Vietnamese maybe? Okay, I gave you a handout. If you have questions, just shoot them in. Just as short info, I gave you a handout with the talk details, and attached is the personal brand canvas. I'm happy to receive the filled out canvas just as a photo. If you want to have a check back with you, how you want to build up your personal brand, if you need feedback on your message, for example, just take notes on this sheet, make a picture, and send it to till@tillcarlos.com. I'm happy to give you feedback for free. Yeah.
Hey, so good talk. I was
Thanks.
wondering, were there any mistakes that didn't make the list? Any kind of runner-ups, if you will, that are definitely important, but that didn't quite make the set?
No, they were really the most important ones here. Some minor mistakes are going under the not controlling the technology. So normally when people screw up, it's when they do something stupid, do not know how to separate their Facebook friends from the public Facebook profile. Those basics that you can read everywhere on the web. Those things are all under this technology aspect.
Me personally, I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
So to clarify her question, I think what she means is when you go online, do you have to rethink when you share by yourself? You have to think whether what you share would be beneficial to your business or not.
So it should get into your feeling to know when you publish something. And yeah, your personal brand is defined also by yourself. So for you running a co-working space, you can post some cool things about the Saigonhub, but at the same time, people want to perceive you as a normal human being who's there to help them, who's also doing his private stuff here somewhere in the evenings. So you can share something like, okay, I'm sitting here working on this project and no one else is here. It would be cool to have a coffee now. If you do that, people just see, oh, this is personal. He's working his butt off in his own co-working space. So stuff like that. I would not post party pictures of you on the next discotheque, because why should you? Does it help you? For your friends, it's a different thing. Oh, and Nate had a question.
Do you know, are there any examples of someone who did a really good job and they built their personal brand that worked out really well for them, but then they tried to turn this into something else and they weren't able to get out of it, and they weren't able to kind of detach themselves from their brand?
I don't know any of them, probably because they stayed true to the niche. But this is actually the benefit of having a personal brand, because when you are Nate Ginsberg, you can just be yourself and say, okay, I'm totally honest, I like this new project because I'm this guy, everything is totally clear as I laid it out the years before. So I'm starting this new project and this is what I'm doing. And now people will like you as a person, and then since they have the relationship with you, would also be more open to get to the product. That's basically what everyone tries to do right now, to get away from their niche, attach the relationship to their person in order to do something else. This is what James Schrimko does. He's now becoming an idol for a great lifestyle.
I think one of the good ways if you want to do personal branding, you can create your own fan page on Facebook, separate from your own profile page. But you share the private things with your friends, and another page to share the public information with the others.
Yeah, that's a good tip actually, yes. You can do that. Cool. Thank you so much.
So if you have further questions, you can contact privately with Carlos. We'd be happy to help.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining the event today. Have a good night.
Yeah, cool.